Oh hi, I'm David, and sorry it's been a little while since my last video. I wanted to apologize to those of you who have been waiting for this It book review, because I had to take a short little detour down Fleet Street, if you catch my drift. This book's made-for-TV miniseries gave me nightmares throughout my childhood, and with it getting a feature film adaptation this year, I thought what better time to take a turn through the odyssey of terror that is Stephen King's It. The book came out in 1986, and I believe it was Stephen King's 22nd book and 18th written under his name, since he did write books under the name Richard Bachman for a while, but that's a different video entirely. The story follows the Losers Club, 7 kids who are trying to discover why there are so many bizarre occurrences in their town, and defeat an unspeakable evil during the summer of 1958. Yet, 27 years later, the bizarre murders begin again, so perhaps the kids weren't as successful as they once thought. The book opens with one of the most nostalgic and memorable scenes from the TV miniseries, and that's whenever Pennywise is in the sewer drains. From the nostalgic bang of that first chapter, I was stuck. I knew I was in for a book unlike any other I had ever read, and what followed in the next 1,000 plus pages didn't disappoint. The second chapter was a mysterious puzzle of a story that built intrigue and broke my expectations. It felt like the grand welcome to the ride, so to speak. This is your last chance, so you better buckle up, bucko. But not all is a smooth ride with this read. I'll first be starting with the cons, then be moving on to the pros of this book. This book is long, which wasn't a problem for me, but it does require more dedication than the normal novel to get through. The edition I read had 1,477 pages, so yeah. Some readers may find it confusing that the story is told in a non-linear order, constantly jumping from 1958 to 1985. And there were a couple points where I did have to do a double take or got the current point in time confused. But I think only a couple times within over 1,400 plus pages isn't too bad. There's 6 main characters, so if you're used to books with smaller casts, this one might be a little bit too much for you. Though, with this many main characters, there are plenty of fears to conquer. The pros with this book are that while it's long, it has very good pacing throughout, and I felt that it never slowed down for very long, and if it did, it would always pick up immediately afterward to help carry you through those slower tension-building scenes. Also, this book had lots of good stopping points, in case you just want to read a chapter here or there, or on your commute to work or wherever. I've always loved books with a lot of stopping points, because then it gives me more options to where to leave off and continue later. The book, toward the end, questions a lot, and does a good job on delivering on its themes, which run deeper than simply fear or survival. Now that we know the pros and cons of this book, I want to rate it based on these 5 factors: the writing style, characters, plot, setting, and themes, because I feel like all these are elements that go into making a great novel. So now, let's see how this one holds up. The writing, while clunky in places, more than gets the job done on providing enough details without being overbearing or explaining more than it needs to. Although there is a fine line, and there are a couple times where the book does get excessive with unnecessary detail, but it's only a couple of times within the span of the entire novel, so I don't think that's too bad. And there are several emotional scenes written to great effect. King knows how to get poetic when he wants to. Also, as far as content is concerned, here he shows that he's not afraid of much. The prose and writing style of this book is overall very readable, and did a very good job of pulling me through the narrative. Characters. This is one of the places that the book excels the most. With 6 main characters and a host of other character points of views, we really get to see their personalities, know their fears, and learn what makes them tick. We get to see their friendship through trial and strife grow ever stronger, and their relationships all mature with one another. In some cases, we even get to know some of the characters better than they know themselves. The story structure allows tension, dread, and intrigue to build throughout. It's also able to deliver some crucial backstory through showing it to us. It's like we get a built-in sequel. The story never jumps too much, and I couldn't catch any continuity fails, which makes it pretty solid in my opinion. Setting, in some cases, steals the show. The interlude sections are dedicated primarily to building the setting. The town of Derry is a monster in itself, from the citizens' selective blindness to the evils that occur there. There's also a great variety within locations, between the lush, overgrown barrens, the public library, and the sewer tunnels that are beneath the city itself. Themes. The book, of course, deals with friendship, bravery, and courage throughout, but gets into deeper, more conflicted territories by the end that show fear isn't always what you think. For its few missteps, the book manages much in long, sweeping strides. It even has a semi-episodic feel, which helps you get through the book because of its length. And, once all the pieces started falling together, I was hooked. So, if you've seen the 1990s TV miniseries or the most recent film adaptation, I would recommend you reading this book. There's only so much they can fit on the silver screen, so if you don't shy away from high page counts, like horror or just a Stephen King fan in general, I couldn't recommend this book more highly. It's one hell of a trip. If you liked today's video, don't forget to drop me a like in the comments below and let me know what you thought of this book if you've read it. Sorry it took so long, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.